Welcome everybody to the Make Europe Great Again conference. It is buzzing. There is representation from well over 33 countries. I believe there's actually more that have shown up just today. Because freedom is on everybody's mind. With the election of Donald J. Trump, hope is restored, and the idea that, I don't know, people might just actually be able to live free is reverberating around the world. And so we are here with one of the great women in Romania. You know, Romania has become one of this incredible story all over the world now. It's made international news rather, because of not just a stolen election, but a tossed out election. You've all seen the reporting, Mr. Georgescu comes out and he wins, and then all of a sudden the German who has been running Romania decides, just kidding, no election here. There's been involvement by the EU. We're going to hear a lot more about what's been going on in Romania and the direction that they're going to be taking along with MEGA and its impact in this region. It's absolutely incredible. Our good friend Ramona Bruynseels, I hope I said that right.
Yes.
Did I say okay?
Yeah,
I love, this has been such an exercise in all these beautiful names and culture. I love
complicated names.
They're slightly complicated. I got SQ down last time. I just know SQ, right? I'm going to learn more.
I know, I fully understand you.
Not easy. Yeah, it is crazy. It's such a privilege and an honor. You are a member of the parliament in Romania. You also serve as the secretary for the Defense Commission. It's interesting times for me to be talking to somebody like you right now, given what's happening with NATO, now building their nuclear site there in Romania. Can you talk a little bit about just what's been the atmosphere in Romania since the stolen or thrown out election and moving into NATO actually taking ground there?
Yeah, so since the presidential elections were annulled, of course that all over Romania it's been a huge tension, social tension. It's just that, of course, all of us, all the public persons and leaders of the political parties, we've been encouraging people to maintain peace and to try, to contain themselves, because the insatisfaction level is huge. People feel that, unfortunately, we reached that point in which we can't allow the current government to continue to lead Romania. And it's not just because of the government and the incompetence and whatever they do, and of course that this has a huge impact on people's lives from the economic point of view especially, but when you feel that the last resort, your right to vote, it's been endangered and basically annulled, this for people was the last point, and people can't simply forgive them for what they did. And whatever they come up with now, doesn't matter what they say about the candidate, and of course they come with lots of negative stuff, and they try, to demonize him and to turn him into a danger basically for the Romanian society, and of course that accusing him continuously that he has Russia behind him and he's a Putinist and so on and so forth, and extremist and so on and so forth. People don't believe anything anymore. It's simply now it's people against the authorities. And those judges who still are in the Constitutional Court, the 9 judges who together, all of them, decided to cancel the elections, are completely hated in the country. People expect, and actually the key is still in the hands and minds of these 9 judges, because there is no superior authority to them to turn around their decision. So it's up to them actually to go back and cancel it, because this would be the right thing. And I don't know if you know, and I'm sure actually that you know, but yesterday the Venice Commission came and confirmed basically that the annulment of the elections in Romania was a huge abuse.
Now, just for those who may not know, what is the Venice Commission?
So Venice Commission is basically a very important institutional authority that's coming with, indeed, recommendations. So basically, its decisions and its points of view are not mandatory for the countries, but they are trying to guide us so that we follow the democratic rules and we don't disobey, the main democratic rules, and we keep the rule of law in our country.
Are they in partnership with the EU? Is this their
it's an independent, it's a complete independent authority, and hopefully it will stay like that. The issue is that you see how politics are. I mean, when you like and when their recommendations are in your advantage, then you praise it and you go and you say, oh, the Venice Commission told us to do that, so we must do it, even if you sacrifice the people, in the country.
Yeah.
But now, when they completely dislike it, and when, of course, that is not in their advantage, now meaning the government, the president, who's not legitimate anymore in Romania, they behave like nothing happened, like the Venice Commission didn't say anything. Now, of course, that since they came yesterday with this decision, now, of course, that the tension is even higher, bigger, because people are expecting now the authorities to come with something, to tell them something, to give some answers. It's not possible to cancel the vote of more than 9 million people and to give no explanation, to not show any kind of evidence. The moment you come with such important and such hard to dismiss, and to review accusations, you have to show what you took into consideration when you came up with those. So this didn't happen, and of course that for now people are still awaiting. But I'm telling you, if they dare to cancel his right to run again, then we expect the worst.
So I want to back up for just a moment here. Georgescu is the nominee that actually won this round of the presidential race. It was thrown out, literally just discarded like it didn't happen.
Yes.
And he has now been on an interview, circuit throughout America, internationally. Sean Ryan hosted him, which garnered millions of views, by the way, because people are trying to understand what's the significance of what happens in Romania compared to the rest of the world. And maybe can you expound on that relationship with the EU, the current German, who is the illegitimate president. I like that you said that because that's exactly right. The people cast their vote, and just because he chose to throw it out and then weaponize the Supreme Court against them, against the people, doesn't make him any less illegitimate, okay?
Yeah.
So what is the relationship that people should be thinking about when they think of Romania's election, America, and the power of the EU?
So recently, a previously commissioner of the European Union, Mr. Breton, came up and accidentally, or I don't know how comes, he made a fantastic statement. He left all of us completely like wowed,
Okay.
and surprised. He said that the European Union has the tools in order to interfere in the national elections. And they did it in Romania, and they will do it in Germany as well. So basically, this is what he said.
Okay.
So
tell his name one more time. We want to have his name out there publicly. What's his name again?
Yeah, is the previously Commissioner of the European Union, Breton. And I will give you exactly the first name as well, which currently I don't remember. So Mr. Breton basically told us the truth, told us that in our elections the European Union had a go and had a point of view and had an interference. So
incredible.
This is the connection, because we've been an experiment. They saw what happened there, and now they know how to replicate anywhere else. The other thing is that, in order to stop people from electing somebody that the establishment at the level of the European Union doesn't like, so in order to stop them from voting for who they want, they are able to press on any kind of buttons. So they started, of course, to block the accounts on social media. They started to call people to be interrogated by the police just for expressing their point of view. So Of course that there is a big connection, because the censorship and what they try to do now in Romania will be replicated anytime in any other country in the EU. And those who think that what happened is just an isolated thing in Romania, they are completely wrong. It's not like that. And today, in the discussions that we've had in the conference, actually it was extremely clear to all of us that they apply the same measures and the same view all over Europe, even from the digital point of view, from blocking people to express themselves. These are basically is the same line that you find everywhere in our countries. So this is just the first step, and if we don't fight against this, and if we just stay and wait for them to realize what they did and to try to repair it, I think we are completely naive.
I couldn't agree more. The greatest tool that you have is the power of your people. There have been massive protests in Romania, thousands of people gathering together. You know, it's so vast and so many people you couldn't count it. And that has to continue to happen no matter what. I'm really concerned about I would say the radical nature of NATO in your backyard. Now, it's almost as though you have the president throwing out the election. Georgescu's out. He would have never entered into a war. He would have never supported ongoing war with Russia and Ukraine and all of that. I just wonder, do you kind of feel like it's a disciplinary action a little bit from NATO to use your backyard as the grounds for the largest nuclear base in your region?
I'm not sure that Romanians think like that. You know, NATO actually is still very trusted in Romania, and we don't feel like being punished by NATO. Our main enemy, let's say, if you allow me to use this word, despite the fact that it's a very hard word, is the establishment at the European Union level. Now, of course that there are big connections with NATO as well, and between the leaderships of NATO and European Union. And of course that we are always afraid and cautious that these people here in the European Parliament, European Commission could try to influence, of course, the leadership of NATO. But at the same time, we trust NATO, and we are happy that we have NATO and that we benefit from the security offered by NATO. At the same time, however, we realize that now, through what happened with the annulment of the elections, it's a big damage as well to the image of NATO and its involvement in Romania, because we are a strategic partnership. We have such an important military base there, the NATO base, and other American bases in Romania. And then how comes that our authorities admit that it's been such an important Russian interference in our elections? I mean, then, you know, we bring a shade on NATO.
Yeah.
And
because they didn't prevent it, right?
Exactly.
They didn't prevent it, and then there was no disciplinary action, quote, for Russia if that's who interfered in your election. Boy, that sounds a lot like America. I'm sorry.
Well,
Russia.
Yeah. No, so for us it's more than clear that there is nothing that special about Russia's involvement in the elections. Of course that Russia, now we are talking about a conflict that's at our border, yeah? Russia is in a war with all of us, basically. And of course that Russia tries to destabilize all the European countries and all the NATO countries, if it has the chance. But this is an ongoing activity, ongoing action. So we can't really say that in Georgescu's victory, it was especially used, technology by Russia or a special strategy put in place by Russia. No way. It's the normal involvement of Russia in any kind of election, but that was, I'm sure, that was kept under control by the Romanian secret services and, of course, through our international partnerships.
So you're not thinking that way. There's an understanding understanding that the president of Romania was not happy with the results. He sought for the election to be annulled.
Of course.
It was annulled. The people are left hanging saying, what in the world? How could this happen? I do want to point out too, I do think it's interesting, there was a lot of concern about TikTok, and that TikTok had, ran interference through Russian collusion somehow on behalf of Georgescu. And so that was the reason that was given. I actually went on the current president, and Ioannis, right? Is that how you say his name? Ioannis. I went onto his social media. He has a lot more social media interaction than Georgescu any day. So I'm very confused about how there was unfair social media advantage and how that played a role in a surprise outcome, because it's just not there for Georgescu the way that it is for Ioannis. So that really just seems like a fallacy.
So you see, your question marks are still our question marks, and of course that we've been supervising and reading and analyzing everything that was made public in Romania. So we are informed about this, but we still didn't get answers.
Yeah.
So of course that having no answers, having no evidence presented, how could we believe something like this?
Yeah.
So we are still waiting for these answers. We are sure that they will not come because they know exactly what happened. They basically invented this entire explanation so that they have a reason to cancel the elections without being real.
Yeah.
One of our secret services, SDS, actually, the only one, confirmed that there were no issues observed during the elections. So they were the only ones. This institution was the only institution that had, the courage to say basically the truth. They didn't accept the compromise. The others, because at the leadership, in the leadership of the other two secret services, there are political appointments. The big bosses in the secret services, they are politically appointed. Of course that they came up and said what the current president said, and what they established, So
there is retaliation then. I mean, there's retaliation that needs to be thought about before you actually come public and you come against the president.
Of course.
It's really a wild situation, especially having just been there and recognizing how incredibly committed the people of Romania are, the conservative movement that's spreading across there, the denial of wokeism. They don't want it. They want to be free. And for those who are watching, just understanding Romania has not been free for that long. We've got maybe 30 years?
35 years.
35 years of freedom where you're not under communism. But there's still this lingering idea that the government needs to take care of the people.
Yeah.
And that is a concept that cannot live with freedom. How do you overcome that?
What I wanted to say, Sharona, is that, on the 6th of December, which is a very important religion holiday for us, we basically received one of the biggest shocks ever, in the last 35 years. Because we all took democracy for granted. We thought that we live in democracy. And that day confirmed to us that actually we only thought that we were living in democracy, and that the system can be, and the deep state basically, is there, and it keeps, with its teeth, it keeps the power so that nobody else has access. And this was a very, and it still is an uncomfortable feeling for all of us. Now, for our movement, it's a crucial moment. And we will go ahead and do whatever is in our power in order to make sure that we will put as much pressure on them as possible. And our connection with the United States and the fact that now Donald Trump is there, and of course that we put our hopes and we expect a lot from the trends point of view, the trends that we believe that Europe should follow now, since Donald Trump is at the leadership of the US. Yeah. This makes us stronger, and this at the same time makes them weaker. because they know that they can't do whatever they want anymore.
Right.
People in the country are against them, and the flow basically and the new ideas and the new approach from the US is completely against their vision, their principles and their way of doing things. So I think that we are very, very close to an extremely important moment in Romania's history,
Wow.
which is getting back our freedom and getting our country led by patriots, by people who care about the regular Romanian who has problems, who has no hope, who has no opportunities, who has hopes and dreams, and nobody listens to him. And they all think, these people that led Romania in the last 35 years, they all think that they know better than the people. But it's not right anymore. People are smart, they are informed, they feel what the correct way should be, and they are ready for the first time in our recent history to fight for it. And this makes me very, very proud.
I want to end on that note. That was beautifully stated. Ramona, thank you so much. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
I just couldn't agree more. We are live here at the Make Europe Great Again conference. Ramona from Romania is fighting every day for women, for children, for the greatness of Romania again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.